Okay. Welcome to the show, Mr. Pallab Battacharya, former ADG, Assam Police, and also the chairman of the Assam Public Service Commission, Vision India Forum. The issue today that we have at hand is crime, cyber crimes. Now, being an authority in the subject of policing and crime management, also an expert on the subject of fifth generation warfare that you had spoken on a monologue almost a year back with us. Request you to throw some light about this entire new phenomena of cyber crimes in this growing penetration of the social media, and apart from that, the kind of freedom of speech, what do you call, jargon is being exploited by the so-called intellectuals especially, and then the same is percolating down to the society at large, and everybody is taking to social media and other forms of expression, and cyber, that is the internet space, is probably the easiest way to get across or get through their opinion in all forms of things that they want to express themselves upon. And India is a country with almost 145 crore people now. So the management of cyber crimes, because freedom of speech, accessibility to technology and free data, social media, regulation issues with respect to social media, all these contribute majorly to a very, very big kind of, we have a big demon at hand in the form of cyber crime, which can really eat into the entire system if not tackled effectively. Not all systems are foolproof with respect to cybersecurity mechanisms. Apart from that, what exactly constitutes a cyber crime from a law and order perspective is something which we would like you to speak about. In case, I know you're not an expert probably on this subject, but people who are experts, so-called experts, probably they have much more interesting work at hand. Henceforth, they have refrained from attending today's summit on this very, very sensitive topic. So Pallab Bhattacharya ji, I should request you to take us through the entire concept of cybercrime, to what is the way in which cybercrime is being tackled, can be tackled. And we all know what can be the pitfalls of a kind of if you call a pandemic, cybercrime pandemic, because as Mr. Narendra Modi rightly put it, that no more this is an age wherein people will fight with gun shells. It is the bloodless war era. So the bloodless war era means cybercrime, definitely. Pallab Bhattacharya ji, over to you. Cyber crimes, ramifications, what is it? What does it mean? Ramifications, and how good are we in terms of not only the central agencies, but also at the state levels, because law and order is a state subject. How good are we, and what are the things needed for us to make cyber crime management effective in this country? Thank you, and over to you, Mr. Pallab Bhattacharya.
Yeah, good afternoon. Actually, am I audible actually? Okay. As you have already pointed out, actually, when the Indian Penal Code and CRPC was initially introduced at that time, actually the concept of cyber crime was not very there actually, because it was a totally different field. With the evolution of science and technology, now this has become a very big problem. As you are aware, even while we are talking, in Ahmednagar as well as in Akola, actually, that is in Maharashtra, certain problems are going on over a WhatsApp status, which has started this clash between two communities, two groups of people. So the importance of cyber crime is very important nowadays. And another thing is that actually there are, earlier I have given a talk on the 4th generation and 5th generation of warfare. There also you can find that instead of sending army to a particular country, you can also attack that country through your internet dialogues actually. Dialogue in the sense that you can always reach out to some of the disgruntled elements in a country and then incite them to cause violence. This will be a relatively less costly affair, and that is why we have found such incidents taking place. In fact, since I am born and brought up in a place called Duliajan, where Oil India Limited is there a cybercrime has taken place when people from some other country, they attack the oil installations, and that is why it has caused a great hue and cry at that point. So now it has become very important. Now, if we see the evolution of cybercrime as well as cyber security, first we should go to Digital India concept, which was launched by the Prime Minister on 1st of July 2015. Actually, this Digital India concept. And there are 9 pillars of Digital India when it was launched. First was the broadband highways, then universal access to mobile connectivity, public internet access program, e-governance, then e-Kranti, that means electronic delivery of services, information for all, electronics manufacturing, information technology for jobs, then early harvest programs. These are some of the programs. These are the 9 verticals under which the Digital India concept was introduced. And you will be happy to know that prior to that, actually in the year 2011, Government of India had introduced a plan to connect all the panchayats. There are 250,000 panchayat all over India. So that is subsequently it was named as BharatNet, and this has also become a program under this Digital India. You see, we have the other concept of ONDC, that means Open Network Digital Commerce. That means now whenever you want to buy something, you will have to go to the Amazon website or say Flipkart, etc. And then you can buy a particular thing. But in those areas, actually what happens, Amazon as well as Flipkart, they have got the privilege to give you a product at a higher price also. So that is why Government of India has introduced this network, which is called Open Network Digital Commerce. That means there you can see once ONDC becomes fully operational, then you can find out what is the price offered by, say, Flipkart, what is the price offered by Amazon, or what is the price given by a, ordinary, trader. So from that, actually, you can find out the prices will be very reasonable. And this is a very good step which the Government of India has introduced. Now, you see, though all these things have been introduced, now the problem is it is a double-edged sword, because once you introduce such ease of doing business, at the same time, you will have a lot of problem so far as security is concerned. So how to, I personally feel that the Government of India has done a lot of things on digitizing the network or the digitizing for making easy actually our conduct of business. But at the same time, this, what is that called, security aspect has not been properly addressed. But even then, you see, we have got certain, this is data localization problem. That means if I use certain data that will be located in some foreign countries, that is also a big problem, because people will try to exploit India's weakness on that point. That is why this data localization is also a very big problem. Now, as India is moving towards this Digital India concept, actually a number of cyber security measures have been taken by Government of India. So some of these measures can be, you must be aware of. One is called Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center, I4C. They call it I4C. You can see it in the Ministry of Home Affairs website, actually, that is there. Then there is another, as per the Information Technology Act of 2000, which was brought in the year 2000, there is a concept of critical information infrastructure. That means how, which are the infrastructure which are very critical to us. So that is there. Then when we go for this digitization, certain threats come. These threats are various threats, cyber threats. I'm talking about.
Pallab, one small thing. What constitutes a cyber crime? What is a cyber crime?
Okay. Actually, crime has been defined in Indian Penal Code. Actually, but if you do that crime through cyberspace, actually, basically, that is what we call a cyber crime. I will give you an example. First example is, suppose I am using internet banking, and if somebody hacks my account and transfers that money to himself, that will be a cyber crime. Similarly, so far as the social media is concerned, nowadays social media presence is very much there. So far as social media is concerned,
does a crime by using mobile, apart from internet, suppose an SMS, can that also fall under the cyber crime category?
yes, if it comes under cyberspace, actually anything under cyberspace can be treated as cybercrime.
What is
So
cyberspace?
yes, cyberspace is actually when somebody commits a dacoity, he personally goes, he loots something, that is called in the real, what I can say, three-dimensional space, actually they are doing it. But so far as cybercrime is concerned, it is at a different level, actually. That is called cyberspace. That means when we use various, we are using now mobile phone. So mobile phone also, that is an instance of using cyberspace also, because our data goes through a space. How the data is transmitted from one mobile to other. So that is called cyberspace, actually. So whenever somebody commits a crime, as indicated in the Indian Penal Code, in the cyberspace, we can call it a cybercrime, actually. That is what I mean by that. I was explaining about the various steps.
So you are saying to me that even usage of even a text message, apart from social media or internet, Instagram, WhatsApp, or whatever is happening, I mean, even if you send what do you call, a threatening SMS to anybody, that is a cyber crime?
Yes, actually, on that basis, actually, they can take up a case. Actually, if you see the Information Technology Act of 2000 and subsequent amendments which are going there, you will find a detailed description of what are the crimes which are incorporated in the cybercrime space, actually. That is also there. But for the ease of understanding, I am saying it in that fashion. So Information Technology Act is a detailed act of 2000, but subsequently so many amendments were made. So there you have what is a cybercrime and how it is affecting how it can be investigated, etc. All those details are there. But I want to tell you one thing.
Sir, if somebody puts a complaint,
yes,
somebody files a complaint, you suppose there is a case of medical negligence.
Okay.
And there is a SMS complaint through SMS that is sent to some authority.
No, that will not constitute. Actually, that will be a physical complaint. Actually, what you are saying, actually, police stations in certain states, they have introduced EFIR. So that EFIR does not mean that it is a cybercrime. I am not talking about that. If there is a medical negligence and somebody wants to file an FIR through, say, EFIR system, that will not be a what I can say cybercrime. Cybercrime is something different, actually. So it is.
He is filing an FIR. Can an FIR and an FIR can never be a crime? Suppose somebody is filing an.
No, FIR will be a crime if it leads to a cognizable offense. Cognizable offense is described in our CRPC. That means an action, any case where police can investigate without warrant, that is called cognizable offense. So, if it is a cognizable case, in that case, police can register the case. But if it is a non-cognizable case, in that case, the complainant will have to go to the court and file an FIR in the court, and the court directs police to register a case, then it will be a non-cognizable case. So these are various aspects of crime, actually.
No, I am only suggesting if somebody is just complaining to an authority via an SMS. If somebody is complaining to an authority, not the police, suppose the medical council, somebody has sent an SMS.
No, that is different. For the concept of cybercrime, I have already told you, I have given a simple example. If somebody wants taken away the money, that will be a cybercrime. Similarly,
the connection is lost. Could you come again? Could you come again after probably 10 seconds? We cannot hear you.
In the attacks ill through means basically crimes. So instead of these points, actually, so basically it is an offense in the cyberspace, and I will request people to go through the Information IT Act of 2000, where everything has been defined. Now,
so you are saying to me that first of all, an SMS complaint is definitely, first of all, I mean, from a law and order perspective, is an SMS complaint by any citizen against anything to any authority or to anybody a complaint. It is not a blackmail. It's not a threatening activity. It is not a life-threatening message. It is not a vendetta message, nothing. It is just a complaint and a grievance which is stated to any authority by a citizen. First of all, can that ever be constituted as a formal crime?
Yes, that can be that can be treated as a formal crime. That is there. If it is a that will be a formal crime. But what I mean by cybercrime is something different.
No, actually, sir, suppose I am giving you a crime. Is complaining a crime?
No. Suppose I have been attacked by somebody physically. I was injured. So I file a complaint through the eFIR system or through, say, WhatsApp message. That will not be a cybercrime. That is what I want to say. So cybercrime is something different, which is
any complaint against by a affected party. A complaint can never be a crime. I understand a complaint can never be a crime.
Yes.
Crime is when somebody is trying to get some benefit out of somebody.
Yeah, that is true. No, that is true. But actually, cyberspace will have to be used. For instance, again, I will give you another example. Somebody hacks into my email account, and then through it, he is trying to influence others to give money to others. So that will be a cybercrime. It is happening in a cyberspace, actually. That is what I mean by cybercrime. Now, going to certain information, actually, in the year 2021, actually, there were 52,974 cases of cybercrime reported, but it was much low, around 15% low in the year 2019. So gradually, with the introduction of ONDC and other things, actually, these number of crimes will gradually increase. The government of India has taken several steps. I have already told you that Cybercrime Coordination Center 114C, they call it. Then the critical infrastructure thing. Then we have got other threats also, cyber threats like malware threats, Trojan horse, spyware, etc., etc. So these are various threats which people should be aware of. Now, major areas covered in cybersecurity are application security, then information security, then disaster recovery. These are some of the things which I think common public will not be aware of, but these are certain things which we should be very careful of. Then you see the cyber crime versus cyber terrorism. Now, cyber terrorism concept has also come into practice. Cyber terrorism means actually, if I can threaten some people, if you go through the definition of terrorism, then cyber terrorism concept have also come. Then there is another concept called cyber war. Cyber war means actually that in instance I have already given that if I being an Indian, influence some disgruntled party in Pakistan to wage war against some people, actually that will be cyber war. So these concepts have gradually come into existence, and that is why we should be very careful about our thing. Now, why these cyber crimes are taking place? Actually, is first point is profit. Actually, any agency who wants to make profit, they will always go for easier way of doing it, and that is why if I concentrate fully on profit without looking into if I want to earn profit, but so that is one point actually why cybercrimes are happening. Then we do not have a very totally different procedural code so far as cybercrime investigation is concerned. So these are some of the issues which will come up gradually, and government of India is also probably taking steps in this regard. Then there is the transnational nature of cyber attacks. That means from being in India, you can attack somebody in Russia and other places also. Then we have got limited expertise and authority also. That is also another point. Although the most of the cyber state labs actually in most of the states actually we have got, as you have already told, that policing is a state subject, though they have cyber labs, but they are not capable of analyzing certain very important things actually. Then examiners of electronic evidence. Actually, you see, when there is a murder weapon, we usually send it to the forensic science laboratory. Similarly, there might be some electronic evidence which we should be able to send to some examiners of electric evidence. Actually, procedurally, these things have not been brought out so far as I know. Actually, because I retired from police in the year 2019, but these are certain issues which we are facing at that point of time. Then Indian National Security Council is one organization actually which is looking after the security of the state. Then CERT-in, actually you must be aware of Computer Emergency Response Team India. Actually, they are also taking various actions in this regard. Then Cyber Swachhata Kendra. Cyber Swachhata Kendra, if you visit the Ministry of Home Affairs site, you will be able to know about that actually. So personally, I feel that in order to enhance the, what I can say, the capability of investigating officers, first thing is required is capacity building. Actually, we will have to increase the capacity of the investigators in the different states. Then reforming the justice delivery system. That means like CRPC, for ordinary crimes, we go by CRPC. Similarly, for investigating cyber crimes, we should have certain standard operating procedures, which the government, I personally feel, should draw up so that police is at par with other crimes. Then developing cyber defense mechanism, how to protect yourself from any attack. Actually, all those issues are there. Then public awareness. Public awareness is very, very important. And in fact, MeitY, actually, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, actually, they have, they should go down to the panchayat level, because we are going to connect all the panchayat through BharatNet. So in that case, we will require a lot of things. So those people, panchayat people, should also be educated in this regard.
Sir, one thing is about, see, crime one of the basic, tenets of kind of defending is that ignorance. Ignorance is one of the basic tenets of defense. In
Yes.
that case, especially in the case of cyber crimes, uh, where the accessibility is absolutely unfettered and it percolates down to to almost to the toddlers. I mean, is forget about the youth and adults, even the 5-year-olds and 7-year-olds, 10-year-olds, they're fiddling with the gadgets all day long. I mean, and then, they can unknowingly do acts of crime, which for them would be just child's play. So ignorance is a basic tenet of defense. How do you react to that particular situation?
Now, that is very important. Ignorance is the main thing. Actually, that is why I personally feel that even at the school level also, actually, this idea of cyber security should be introduced, even at the school level, because students also sometimes use phones very often. And so many cases of using bad images of ladies in social media have also come into being. So that is why mass awareness is the most important thing. And since government of India is going to connect all the 250,000 panchayats into, through the BharatNet project, actually that is why our cyber security awareness should go back to the panchayat level also and at the school level also. Another important thing is that then there is another issue of privacy, right of privacy, as you have already told in the beginning. Actually, that Putuswamy case, they call it, actually, it is a very important case on data, privacy. Now, you must be aware that for the last several years, Government of India is giving draft of the data protection law in India by various bills, but not a single bill has been implemented till now. Now, there are certain issues, like this privacy issue is a very important factor. For instance, if you want proper security, in that case, in a what is called smart city, actually you will have to install CCTVs. But at the same time, introducing CCTV means actually you are encroaching into the private life of person. That is also another thing. So this data protection law, and the latest one is Digital Personal Data Protection Bill 2022. Actually, that is also there. And actually, I personally feel that this should be passed as early as possible so that issues like data localization can be addressed properly. Another very important thing, I just want to conclude by saying that the government of India usually takes a stand saying that if we share certain information that, certain informations, like I will give you a very simple example. Like in Manipur, recently, so many things have happened. Actually, violence has happened, and there, government of India has, the state government has stopped internet connectivity. So that is also another issue. Similarly, CCTV cameras which we use, that is also an invasion to the right of private, what do you call, privacy law. So all these things should be addressed properly by the Digital Personal Data Protection Bill. And I personally feel that actually the government of India should pass it as early as possible.
The developed nations already have these laws in place. Why can't we, take lessons and start implementing the same laws in India? Because we keep falling back upon examples from the West when we have to introduce anything which is politically convenient. So in that case, why don't we fall back upon the same old phenomena or the formula of falling back on the Western practices and laws, especially with respect to technology and laws around technology, so that its usage of technology which essentially the West is quite a big leader in that when we are compared with. I'm sure we can follow footsteps with them as far as the law and order implementation in the usage of technology is concerned. Or is it that the political will is missing and there are vested interests at play in this country of 145 crore people, which is allowing such procrastination, which is totally undue and uncalled for?
Yes, actually, what you have told is perfectly correct. The best practices in the different states in India, as also in outside countries also, actually we can collect and utilize it. But there is one problem. Actually, proper amendment of the constitution will also required, because as you have already told, that police comes under state subject, whereas this is cyber security is a concept which encompasses everybody, even foreign countries also. So that is why,
But
so
then
far
the
as
states follow. The
cyber
states
security is
follow.
concerned,
The
I
state,
personally feel that it should come under the concurrent, or say concurrently stored, or
but the
the
states are following the umbrella Indian Penal Code I mean, in all the law and order issues. I mean, in that case, what is stopping it from the government from implementing a penal code similar to an IPC with respect to cyber laws?
Yes, actually, that should be done as early as possible. And even our present Honorable Chief Justice of India is also very much interested in, uh, I mean, I mean, what you can say,
Promulgating or
technology
probably,
upgradation,
yeah.
technology upgradation, so that the entire criminal justice system comes under one umbrella. Uh, so that those are the issues. Actually, basically, government will have to think.
State is also accused from time to time of cyber crimes in
Yes.
terms of snooping,
Hmm.
kind of invading into the privacy of political opponents or politically unsuitable or inconvenient agenda holders. So that kind of cybercrime, how do you tackle that? For example, the state may use its technology, its power to snoop into the privacy, the whereabouts of an individual. At the same time, the individual might not be willing to disclose his identity. Suppose I complain to the CVC. I complain to the CVC with respect to a corruption issue in a very, very big PSU where the minister is involved. Now, if I complain, my identity is supposed to be concealed, but if it gets leaked, and if the system and the system definitely is not foolproof, in that case, the state can be accused of misusing its power and technological accessibility to gather information about my whereabouts, and my security could be compromised. So it's a very, very common situation. This keep happening, and people keep telling me about such things happening to them, and therefore the entire this entire exercise of whistleblowing, lokpal, whatever we know, all these things. I mean, with the cyber thing becoming so important in our lives, and technology becoming so powerful that it can track down where you are, what you're eating, what you're wearing, why did you do this, where did you go. I mean, if somebody is using it in a unbridled and unfettered manner like the state can, in that case, where do we land up and how do we protect such a situation?
This is what you have raised. Actually, this is the problem of state security versus, I mean, individual security, privacy, right to privacy. There is a conflict. You see, when 9/11 took place in America, the same thing has happened. But thereafter, they are snooping almost everybody. So their right to privacy, I have no idea actually, basically, how they are doing it, but they have been able to prevent such type of attack for the future. Actually, they have prevented to a great extent. No major things have taken place. But so far as India is concerned, see the same issue of state security versus right to privacy. Now, this digital personal data protection bill 2022, that is why it is very, very important. because you will have to draw a line actually where you can snoop, where you cannot snoop. Snooping is required because I was in special branch for quite some time, and I have found very, very important data of extremist elements. So all those things are there. And so basically, how will you collect the data actually? Sometimes it is impossible because an extremist, he may be in some other country, he will be doing something. For him, there is no law is applicable. But for the police or the security forces, law is there. So we will have to work under certain constraints. And that is why I personally feel that this Digital Personal Data Protection Bill of 2022 should be brought into fruition as early as possible. And this will address some of the major issues which you are referring to.
If we do not do that, we will be creating a monster on our own, and we will fall prey to it sometime sooner than later, because a short time convenient approach, or a short term kind of short term approach can lend the ruling dispensation in a big soup, and the nation has to pay the penalty for years to come if such laws are made with gaps, and those laws are exploited by the, most importantly, as far as the laws are concerned in this country, implementation has always been the question mark. But exploitation of laws whenever it is required, it did not be the top man on the top seat who would do that. It could also be a simple cybercrime police station, which could be utilized by the agencies in power, the people, so-called people in power seats, and they can be hands in glove with the cyber security officials, and they can start, snooping into the lives of people and start blackmailing activities, because this is a very dense country. This is not a European nation. This is a country which is now the number one in terms of population, and we have a long way to go. Only 75 years into independence. If these things are not taken very, very seriously, and with a lot of humane heart, with a long-term approach in mind, and a personal approach in mind, I am sure every Indian citizen is going to pay a penalty for for celebrating this so-called cyber revolution that we are celebrating over the last 10 years. Thank you so much, Pallab Bhattacharya. Look forward to meeting you again. Thank you, sir. Namaskar.
Thank you.